What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Sunday, June 11, 2023. If you have not done so already and you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live or upload a new video. Also, be sure to hit that like button and that share button as well to share out on your social media platforms. As y'all know, this is a pretty impromptu live that I am doing today. As y'all know, I usually only go live on Fridays, but I said I had to talk about this topic because this was something I was going to save for my Friday live stream. But when I looked into it further, I said it's so much to unpack with this that I have to do it as its own stream. And then, of course, let it remain up on the platform so people do miss out on this stream, because I know it is Sunday and it's early at that. So I know I'll understand if I don't have a massive audience here. But for those who are listening right now, listening live, this is going to be a very interesting stream that y'all are going to want to tune into. And I have to also give a shout out to Blacklight Revelations, because it's a stream that he did yesterday that actually catapulted me to want to even do the stream today, because I said I'm gonna go a little bit further into this. He kind of touched on it, but I said I can definitely go in even more. But before I go ahead and get into it, let me acknowledge the people who are here. Shout out to Craig Colson, Hack Sign KT, Miss Butterscotch, DSM Sinister, Terrence Jackson, Blacklight Revelations 2, Jamal Bay, Iron Will, Rashawn Izu, Jay Cage, Donna C, Stay Positive. Who else is in here? Dimple Face, AW1, James Sumler, Carlton Way, Crew Reality, Duwani, Chill, and that is it so far. So I'm glad everybody is here right now. You know, it's definitely, like I said, it's going to be a very interesting stream. I'm gonna leave the camera off today. Because all that I really want y'all to focus on, of course, is the information that you are about to hear or about to see, because many of you probably don't even know that this is happening or going on. I didn't even know it was happening or going on until I saw it for myself yesterday. But I'm gonna give it about 5 more minutes to see if we can get some more people. It's currently showing me that I have 43 people currently watching. Well, just changed to 45. Let's see, we got Retro Gemini 99 that just came in. B1 to you. Make sure again to hit that like and share button. I would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who came through and watched that premiere video of me and Rob roasting those two knuckleheads yesterday. It did pretty good. I kind of figured it would, because those examination videos of examination collabs that we do always do pretty well. But shout out to everybody that came through, more so than anything because it was a Saturday afternoon / evening, and it was an hour and a half long. So some of y'all stayed the entire time. So definitely shout out to y'all. So we got Tempest 78, B1 to you. We have DJ in here. Like DJ, follow what DJ said. Like, share, and subscribe. But I hope everybody is doing well today. But like I said, I definitely had to come on here and talk about this particular topic. Again, I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of people that are unaware about what it is that you're about to see and hear today. But it's going to put some things into a very interesting perspective, I would think. And this is also another reason why I'm glad I've done one video a day, especially when it comes to Sunday, because I'm able to do this stream early. So it's not like I got to wait until much later on this evening to do it. I said, let me go ahead and knock this one out right now while it's still relatively early, but not too close to the upload time of the video that I posted today. Give it about 3 more minutes. I almost ended up shouting out the damn Nightbot. Give it about 2 more minutes and we will get started. So we have Black Women Stand Up, peace to you. But before we actually go ahead and get started, and I want to be a little bit interactive right now. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you have an idea of what it is we're going to be talking about today. Put a shrug emoji in the chat if you have no clue what the topic is going to be about. Again, put a fire emoji in the chat if you have an idea of what's going to be discussed today. Put a shrug emoji in the chat if you have no clue. You're just kind of lost behind the whole thing. You have no clue what it is. The hint is in the thumbnail, but I kind of faded the thumbnail a little bit to highlight just the words, and then gave it a very different title. Now, if y'all follow me on Twitter, you may have an idea, and I know Rob is in here right now, so he probably has an idea for sure of what it is I'm going to be discussing. So Grape Shot gave the shrug, Lakeisha gave the shrug, Till Dog gave the shrug, Hackson said, I'm not doing the emojis, I'm gonna just draw it out. Iron Will gave 4 fires, DSM Sinister fire, Carlton fire, J Cage shrug. Okay, it's a lot of shrugs, and you know what? I'm glad that I'm doing the shrug. I'm not doing the shrug, seeing the shrug, because then I like kind of hitting people to almost like to have that shock value a little bit. But like I said, if you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen the post, but the post that I made did not get a lot of engagement behind it, and that's okay. But I'm loving that a lot of people are not really understanding it. Oh, Iron Will, I don't think I got your DM because you said you were supposed to DM me something about your clothing line. You didn't send me the DM. I never received the DM. So try to DM me whenever you can. Okay. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of shrugs in here. Now we're going to make this even more interactive. I want to make this as interactive with my chat before I start to get into the information. So I want y'all to listen closely to me when I'm with what I am saying. Okay. If you live or have lived, meaning you lived currently in this state or you live there, but you don't live there anymore. If you live or currently live in the state of California, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If you live or lived in the state of California, put a 1 in the chat. Okay, I'm seeing some ones come on in. I'm seeing a few ones. Okay, cool. Now, if you live or lived in the state of Iowa, put a 2 in the chat. I'm probably going to not get much of engagement from that one because I don't think I have anybody in here who lives or has lived in the state of Iowa, unless there's a base out there and they probably served in the military. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing 2s. Oh, okay. So I do have some people in. Okay, cool. I wasn't expecting that. Silly me. All right. If you live in the state of Illinois, put a 3 in the chat. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. You know what? To make this go a little bit faster, because this is a lot of states, I'm just gonna list them off because it's gonna take too long. So let me kind of rephrase that. So I'm gonna start over. If you lived in the state of California, Iowa, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, Virginia, Wisconsin, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Ohio, and Rhode Island, put a fire in the chat. If you live in any of those states, put a fire in the chat. I can't post it because I'm on the computer. If you live in any of the states that I just listed, put a fire in the chat. It could have been more than one state. Just put a fire in the chat. I think most of y'all are going to put fire in here. Okay, there's a reason why I asked that question. There's a reason why I asked that question. And before I get into it, for anybody who's been around on my channel or followed my content going back to 2016 when I really started to crank out videos, knows that the launch pad for my content was talking about what I titled the opioid plague, or they call it the opioid pandemic. Like, that was a huge push for my channel. For those of y'all who've been around since the beginning, know exactly what that is. Or when I talked about those topics, a lot of you came much later when I stopped talking about those as much. Well, let's just say I'm about to get back to my roots. Give Ms. Butterscotch that I'm killing her, the suspense. I know that's the point. I love putting my people in suspense sometimes. But the reason why I'm saying that, and while I'm getting back to my roots a little bit here, is because let me go ahead and share my screen right quick. If you look right here on your screen, what I'm looking at right here, that it's a website called the Center Square. And it was an article posted on June 9th, 2023, which was just 2 days ago, that states 22 states have reached a $17.3 billion opioid settlement with drug manufacturers, CVS and Walgreens. And the reason why I asked people what state did they live in or have lived in is because all the states that I mentioned are all paying up in with that settlement. Many of y'all did not know that. That's why I said, when I asked people, do y'all have an idea what I'm talking about or nah? Many of you said no. Not shocking or surprising to me. But every last state that I mentioned, or it's by name and asked, did y'all live in, those states are going to be getting this a piece of this $17.3 billion settlement. And guess what, everybody? I managed to pull up the settlements for every last state, all 22 of them. And we're going to go through all of them today. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I think the lowest amount that I saw was like 18 million. I'm not going to tell you what the highest one was, but when I get there, you'll know. And when I say it's high, it's high. And when I say high, I'm talking about as high as the ones who are on these drugs. Now you see why I titled the stream sounds like a handout to me. But we're going to go through it. Like I said, we're going to go through it. But we're going to read this little article right here first so we can get an idea of what it is we're about to examine. 13 attorneys general announced settlements with opioid manufacturers Teva and Allergan on Friday, while 18 states settled with CVS and Walgreens for a total of $17.3 billion. The attorneys general said settlement funds will start flowing into state and local governments by the end of this year and will be used for prevention and treatment of opioid addiction. With 11 North Carolinians dying of an overdose every day on average, we are at a moment of crisis. Democratic North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein said in a statement announcing his state will receive, hold on to it for those of y'all who live in North Carolina, $521 million. So now you know what North Carolina is getting. So that's one state down. And I think North Carolina is the only one mentioned in this article that talks about what it's getting as far as a figure goes. The other ones I had to go and actually type into Google to find what their settlements are going to be. $521 million. That is over $500 million that they're just getting just to that state alone for this. These agreements my office achieved with these drug manufacturers and pharmacies will save lives. We are requiring these companies to pay for desperately needed treatment in our communities and to change the way they operate to prevent other people from getting addicted in the future. I have the strongest feeling that even with all this money that they are about to get, that's still not going to curb the enthusiasm. Teva and Allergan agreed to strict limitations on the marketing distribution of opioids that prohibited from promotion and lobbying, rewarding or disciplining employees based on volume of opioid sales, and from funding or grants to third parties. The companies must publicly disclose documents, including internal documents related to their role in the opioid crisis. Allergen is barred from manufacturing and selling opioids for 10 years. CVS and Walgreens must maintain independent departments to oversee compliance with state and federal laws. The retailers must create and maintain oversight programs and provide data to the states about red flag processes, including blocked and potentially problematic prescribers. I'm not going to read through the states because I already went through the states. Now, what I'm about to read to you is the breakdown of what each company is going to have to pay and over the course of time. If y'all thought this was going to be a one-time payment, this is where where it sounds like reparations here. Teva will pay up to $3.34 billion over the course of 13 years and provide either $1.2 billion of its generic version of the drug. Narcan over 10 years or $240 million of cash in lieu of product as each state may elect. Allergen will pay up to $2.2 billion over 10 years. CVS will pay up to $4.90 billion over 10 years. Walgreens will pay up to $5.52 billion over 15 years. So for those of you who thought that this is going to be one big lump sum that they're just going to just dump just one time and say and be gone with it, nah. This is over the course of decades. Notice all of these are over the course of decades. With the exception of Allergen, they have to do this as over, there's a 7 years, but everything else 13, 10, 15. The site also stated Walmart, Wally World will pay up to $2.74 billion in 2023, and all of its payments will be made within 6 years. A final agreement with Walmart is anticipated in the coming weeks, according to a release from Stein's office. Now, we have another state here. So we found out that North Carolina is going to be receiving $541 million. But Colorado, the state of Colorado, will receive approximately $270 million for the next 15 years from settlements. Y'all, that's just the launch pad. This is just an overview summary of how much they're going to have to pay over the course of years. We already know of 2 states and how much they're going to get, but there's 20 more states to go. And I have all of them. I had to literally go on to Google and type in every state and put opioid settlement next to it, and then I saved them I DM'd them all to myself on Twitter just so I could have them all in one spot. Now, I'm looking in the chat, and many are all right. When it came to black people in the crack epidemic of the 80s and 90s, there wasn't all of this. It was only 2 options, jail or death. And sometimes it was a third option, death in jail. But we should have known this. Back when I was talking about the opioid plague at length, like for a while, like really, that's really all you could really see on my channel at one point. One of the first videos that I made pertaining to that was white people are the new face of drug addiction. And that was back in 2016, January of 2016. I remember. If I still had my old original channel, y'all would have been able to go back and see that commentary and look and see that nothing has changed for them. It just got worse. Remember, at one point they were trying to get Trump to turn this into a national emergency, and he was like, nah. He was like, nope. I remember going to the movies and I would see them advertising Narcan commercials, ads, before they would even show the trailers for upcoming films. And it was the people, the usual suspects that were in those advertisements. And I guess you can say that was right marketing because they were the main ones. Alfred Elliott said, and notice how there's not one political party trying to stop this or hold up in court. Exactly. And it's not on the news. And also added on, the people that keep trying to say black people need to stop asking for reparations and calling it a handout in this. What exactly do you call this? We know why they're not saying anything. That's another reason I'm coming on here to talk about this, because they're not going to talk about it, at least not the way it should be talked about. I've actually gone in stores where they've advertised, like in the pharmacy section, Narcan sprays. Looks just like a nasal spray bottle, but it just says Narcan on it. Now, with that being said, we about to go into breaking down all of these states and how much they're going to get paid. Like I said, we already know North Carolina is getting 541 million. We know Colorado's getting 270 million. But let's find out what these other states are going to get. Let's start with California. And I don't even have to read the whole article. We could just stay right here. From the Los Angeles Times. And this was posted on January 3rd. Now, here's the interesting thing. The article that I read, it was posted 2 days ago. But some of these states already locked in months ago how much they're going to get. Like California, because this was posted January 3rd, 2023. California to receive $470 million from CVS in opioid settlement. But wait a minute, when black people, foundational black Americans in particular, they're being held up and hassled for reparations. They get mad at wanting to get black people in California who qualify a $1.2 million payment, calling that a handout. But they got $470 million. And I know what they're going to try to come back with. Well, it's not coming from the state. It's coming from CVS. I just wanted to throw that in there because I know they're going to try to hit you with that crossover. SJMD said, where did I get the background music? Oh, the one that I was playing in the intro. I got it off of a website called Epidemic Sound. That's where I get all of my background music from, royalty free. But it is a small subscription that you have to pay in order to use it. But it is worth it, especially if you're a content creator. Blacklight Revelation said that they got federal grants too. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it is so much more attached to that as well than just this. But yes, this is California, $470 million that they're receiving. Let's move on to the next state. The next state, Iowa. Now, Iowa, I had to read a little bit more into, but I found it. Iowa is eligible to receive up to $340 million over a multi-year period under these 5 new agreements. $345 million. Keep in mind, this is a $17.3 billion settlement with all these states. We're already over $1 billion just from Colorado, North Carolina, California. We was over $1 billion with that, and now we're even more. We're easing more closely to $2 billion with Iowa. $345 million for the state of Iowa, and this was approved in 2022, last year. But they got the notice in January, the same month that California did. Let's continue. What state we got up next? Oh, look. Oh, I couldn't wait to talk about this one. Let me go ahead and share this tab right quick. Illinois, the one they like to go and talk about Chicago all the time. Look at how much they getting. $515 million. To all the people that love to bring up Chicago went over the weekend, I should say, why didn't y'all bring this up? This was posted up on a Friday. $515 million. And this is recent. This was posted June 9th, 2 days ago. And I see Auntie in the chat. I know this is your state. This is your state. And anybody else in here who lives in Chicago or lives in Illinois, I should say. And I'm willing to bet that it's like James Sumler said, is most likely outside of Chicago. Let's continue. Who we got up next? Oh, one that hits close to home because it is home. My state, Maryland. Let's see, how much is my state getting? Let me scroll down a little bit. Where is it at? Because I know I saw it in here. Where is it at? I know I saw it in here. Excuse me, earlier. If not, I'll just have to go and look it up. Oh, I found it right here at the very bottom. The state of Maryland is expected to receive approximately $400 million from settlements with Johnson & Johnson and 3 prescription opioid distributors over the next 18 years. That's my state. See, many of y'all in the chat are like completely blown away by what you're hearing because it's not publicized on the news. And you know why that is, right? Because the people that's affected by this don't look like you and I. And if they did look like you and I, they wouldn't have been doing all of this, as we have seen throughout history with the crack epidemic, because they didn't do that for them. What's up, Kid Gravity? Said Taurean rage mode. Listen, I'm almost there. I try to keep it at bay, but I feel like it's tapping. It's starting to tap on that nerve. But let's continue. We got what we needed out of Maryland. Let's move on to the next state. What is the next state? Massachusetts. The state of Massachusetts home of Boston baked beans, the Celtics, and heavy anti-black hate, is due $230 million in opioid settlement with CVS and Walgreens. It was posted December 12, 2022. What's going on, Tia to you? And shout out to everybody who just came into the chat. Make sure y'all hit that like button and that share button. I would appreciate it. Exactly, in Harvard University. So that's Massachusetts right there. And you want to know what's so crazy? Out of all the ones I've done so far, this one has the lowest number so far. And it's still a high number, but it's the lowest one so far that I've gone through so far since I started the stream. But let's move on. Let's go to the next state, which is New York. I know I got a lot of New Yorkers in here. Let's see, what is New York getting? Ooh. I want y'all to really understand what y'all about to hear right here when it comes to New York and how much they about to get. Let me, hold on, I got to zoom in on this one because this one, ladies out there, if y'all are watching, this probably would have knocked your wig back for those of y'all who wear wigs. This is New York's breakdown of settlements. Johnson & Johnson will pay up to $230 million. The payments will start in the fall, which means it already happened over the course of 9 years. That's just one. McKesson Corporation and Cardinal Health will pay up to $1.1 billion, of which more than $1 billion will go to abatement. And it says the payments start in fall 2021, which means they've already started 2 years ago. For 17 years, and Allergen will pay up to $200 million. Payment is made last year for a total of $1.6 billion. That's New York. It's a lot of stuff going on in New York right now. I think we might have found our largest contributors. I'm telling y'all, I told you, I feel like I was called upon to do this stream today. I said I couldn't wait a week to talk about this. I said I got to talk about this today. But now that we see New York, let's go into our next state. What is our next state? Well, I don't have to do North Carolina, but if y'all want to see it, I mean, here it is. We already talked about it, but here's for those of y'all who missed it. North Carolina to receive $521 million. For those of y'all who came into the stream late, I had read off what North Carolina and Colorado's was, but in case you didn't catch it, here it is. North Carolina is to receive $521 million in opioid settlements. Whew, man, I tell you. Let's go on to the next state. And the next state is Pennsylvania, PA. Shout out to all of my subscribers in PA. Let's see, how much is PA getting? Let's scroll down a little bit and see if we can find their figure. Okay. It says PA is expected to receive up to $1.7 billion over 18 years from a national deal with Johnson & Johnson, Cardinal Health, McKesson, and AmerisourceBergen. And it says the state received about $130 million, last year from that deal. And it says that agreements with 5 companies could bring over 770 million. So I think that's the breakdown of the 1.7 billion. So 1.7 billion over the course of 18 years for PA. And this article was posted May 18th, 2023. B1, Miriam. So that's PA right there. Let's go to the next state. The next state is Tennessee. Let me close this out. All right, Tennessee. What is Tennessee looking like? Let me zoom in on this one because the wording is kind of small. Tennessee, where is it at? I just saw it. Hold on, let me scroll back up a little bit. Tennessee, where is it at? Oh, there it is. Tennessee's share of the settlement funds is expected to exceed $600 million over 18 years. $600 million, and it said exceed, which means go over, for 18 years. And if you, like I said, if you notice, some of these years are not 2023. They've been in talks about this for the last 2 years at least, going back to 2021. And you want to know what's so interesting? Unlike us, who have to make so much noise when it comes to reparations, a lot of them barely had to make a peep because they already was ready to go out and tackle the situation with no barrier, so to speak. That's Tennessee. Let's see our next state, Texas. The Lone Star State and home to Governor Wheels. What is Texas about to get? Let's see what they about to get. What is Texas going to get? Let me read through right here. Okay. They said the recent settlements with Allergan, CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens brings Texas' combined share to almost $3 billion, with Allergan paying $135 million, CVS paying $304 million, Walgreens paying $340 million, and Walmart paying $170 million. That's Texas. I know this information is like blowing y'all minds right now. Trust me, it's like, imagine me having to present this, but I want people to share this information as far and wide as they can, because even though mainstream media isn't putting it out there, the fact that it's right here on the internet for you to read, it's technically public knowledge. Blueberry Muffin said Ted Cruz brokered that deal. I bet he did. That's the same. You know, I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But let's move on to the next state, which is, let me share this tab. Vermont. I think Vermont is one of the states that's getting one of the least amounts, but they're still getting money regardless. And this was posted yesterday. Vermont is to get a $46.4 million settlement for opioids. This is Vermont. This is isn't this Bernie Sanders state? Yep, I thought so. Blueberry Muffin confirmed in the chat. This is Bernie Sanders state. Let's move on. Let me see. The next state, Virginia, VA. Virginia is to get $365.6 million in opioid settlement agreements posted June 10th, 2023. Let me zoom in on that for those of y'all who have bad vision so y'all can see what I see. Mm, 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 mm. Woo! Y'all, this is a lot. This is a lot. And I'm not talking about just in money. I'm just saying just in information. Let's go to the next state. What is the next state? Wisconsin. Wisconsin is set to receive $277 million. $277 million. Mm. Let's continue. What's the next state? Colorado. Let me get off of this. 18 million. I think Colorado has the least amount of all the states, but Colorado's getting 18 million, but that's still nothing to shy away at. And theirs was, and look at this, awarded in the first round of opioid settlement money, September 29th, 2022. So this just shows you how far back this is going. Let's go on, because I think I have like 7. I don't know how many more states, but we're gonna get through them. Let's go to the next state, because the way they broke it up was by a company who has to pay out. They broke it up. That's how they ended up breaking it up. So if they're not in alphabetical order, it is what it is. So the next state is Connecticut. Connecticut is to get $127 million from CVS and Walgreens in an opioid settlement, and it was dated December 12th, 2022. I know some people who are from Connecticut. Don't know if they still live there, but I went to school with some people from there. Let's move forward. What's the next state? Oh, we about to hit 46's state of Delaware. Let's see how much did Delaware get. $68.9 million is how much the state of Delaware is receiving in these opioid settlements. For those of you who are in the chat right now, for those of you, when I get through all of these states and show y'all what I got to show you at the end, y'all are going to be really disgusted. Trust and believe me. Well, that's Delaware. Let's see, what's the next state? Indiana. Let's see how much is Indiana getting. Woo! They getting a lot. They get a nice huge sum. How much though? $507 million to Indiana. And ironically, when I was doing my Sundown series, Indiana was a state I stayed in for 3 months. $507 million is how much they're getting. Let's see. What's the next state up? Kentucky, home of Owsley County. Y'all know I love to go in on Owsley County and Daniel Cameron. The same state where he wasn't about to prosecute those cops for killing Breonna Taylor. How much are they about to get? How much is the state of Indiana, I'm sorry, Kentucky, going to get? Oh, I see it right here. $478 million. $478 million for the state of Kentucky. And pay attention to this. Attorney General Cameron signed the settlement on the behalf of the Commonwealth. I bet he did. Tildor said, don't forget Mitch Gollum McConnell. How can I forget? But yeah, 478 mil for Kentucky. Who's up next? Louisiana. Louisiana will receive $325 million from opioid settlement for addiction help. I keep telling y'all, I don't think this is going to work. They just giving them money just to give them money. Now, somebody tell me this isn't a handout. I just want someone to tell me that it's not. $325 million for the state of Louisiana. Let's continue, shall we? What state is up next? Nebraska. Nebraska is getting $65 million in an opioid settlement. Just know the places that are getting the most money are the ones where they have the most overdoses at. I just want Black people to just be mindful of that. You know, let's use this information against them since they like to put out propaganda. And see, the thing is about us is with this, I can't say that this is propaganda. This is on the books. This is documented. A lot of the stuff they put out about us is very heavily propagandized, and they don't come with one stat to back it up. But this is Nebraska right here. Let's continue. We're almost done, y'all. We are almost done going through these states. I think it's 2 more. Oh, before I show y'all this, as many of you know, Ohio is the hub for heroin overdoses. I don't know if Rob heard me about to pull this tab up, but I just pulled up how much Ohio will be receiving. Without trying to Google it, do not cheat. How much do y'all think the state of Ohio is getting? Because I need y'all to understand this. How much do y'all think Ohio is getting? Remember, Ohio is the hub. Mike C said a lot. A lot is not a number. I need y'all to throw some figures in there. Mickey said 700. Cardio Junkie said 10 billion. I highly doubt it. It's not that high. Less than 100 million, 3 billion. Okay. Well, it didn't crack a billion, but it's still relatively high for this state, and I'm not surprised that it is. Ohio will receive $679.6 million from these. Hold on, y'all. I ended up clicking out. Let me share the screen again. Sorry about that. Ohio will receive $679.6 million. Whew. I think it was only one person in here that was relatively close to whoever that was that said 700 million was the closest. But yeah, that's how much. Rob, this is your state. I know it's probably some other people in here from Ohio, but I know for a fact that you are from Ohio. But that's how much they're getting. And notice it says, I always tell people to pay attention to the language. Will receive, not they may, not we got to hold a meeting, not we got to do a study. They will receive $679.6 million. That is Ohio. Now, I think I have one more state to go through. I think it's one more. And that's Rhode Island. Rhode Island is the last state, but I also have something I have to share with y'all after that, and then we'll be done. Oh, let me see. Let me see. What is Rhode Island getting? $450 million is how much Rhode Island. Now, keep in mind, Rhode Island is a very small state. It is a very small state. So you know they are going crazy up there if they get $450 million. Delaware is not even getting a fraction of that, and Delaware is a small state. But Rhode Island is getting $450 million. There it is right there. Mm, mm, mm. I keep telling y'all, it's the reason why I'm doing this. Keep this in mind. When they want to try something, refer back to this stream. Share it out with as many people as you possibly can. Now, with that being said, I have one last thing to show y'all that's going to be sure to piss a lot of you off. So, as we all know, and we just went through all of those states, that's all the states we went through. They're receiving all of this right here. They're receiving all of these things to help, I don't know, push them forward or whatever it is, because they ain't pushing them out. What do you think Black people are about to receive? Because I looked up something and Black people are about to receive something very soon. Put in the chat, what do y'all think Black people are about to receive? It could be just anything. I'll give you a hint. It ain't. It's well, right now they're not trying to, pay, cut the check, so y'all don't even put that. But what do y'all think Black people are about to receive? Tia said, what was Michigan? I don't think Michigan wasn't on the list. Hack sign said nothing, disrespect, $0, a donut, time, a Jim Crow bill, a swift kick in the ass, a plaque. Mickey Bricks. I want y'all to understand why I just highlighted Mickey Bricks' comment. Because out of everybody between Mickey Bricks and Carlton Way, I present to you what we are about to receive. A Juneteenth concert. Yay! Aren't y'all excited? Aren't y'all excited? We're about to get a Juneteenth concert. That's what's about to happen. I wish I could make this up, but shout out to Carlton Way and Mickey Bricks for basically hitting it spot on, especially Carlton Way, because they got that one right on it. They is like, oh, I think I know what he's talking about. We about to get a whole Juneteenth concert. Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will host a Juneteenth concert next week in a celebration of community, culture, and music. The concert is to be held on the 13th, which is Tuesday, on the South Lawn of the White House. During the event, the White House says it will uplift American art forms that sing to the soul of the American experience as a part of Black Music Month. Y'all have no idea how much I'm like laughing at this right now because it's such a joke. It says artists that will be featured include Tony Award winner Andre McDonald, singer and talk show host Jennifer Hudson, and Method Man from hip hop group Wu-Tang Clan. It says the list of performers also include Hampton University Concert Choir, Morgan State University's Marching Machine, Step Africa, and the President's own United States Marine Band. Juneteenth, okay, we don't need a history lesson. We already know how Juneteenth works. But what did I tell y'all, though? Oh, hold on. Let me read this quote. This is a day of profound weight and profound power, a day in which we remember the moral stain, the terrible toll that slavery took on the country and continues to take, but they don't want to cut the check. Biden said 2 years ago as he signed legislation backed by overwhelming bipartisan margins in Congress that established Juneteenth as a federal holiday. I told y'all the minute that they made this a federal holiday, this is what we was about to get. And they expect us to be so happy about this. Exactly, DSM Sinister, Negro trinkets. This is absolutely. Now, keep in mind what I just read to y'all for like the last hour. What I just went over to y'all for the last hour, where multiple states, 22, are getting these large settlements totaling $17.3 billion, split between different states and coming from different distributors to help, quote unquote, fight the opioid epidemic. Just giving them basically free money. And what do we get? A Juneteenth concert. The insults never stop. If this does not tell you anything, I don't know what will. But like DSM Sinister said, this is literally the definition of Negro trinket, like flat out. Like, what is this supposed to do? What does this do for us as a collective? Nothing. I saw somebody said, I hope it has the same kind of effect as it did with Chrisette Michele when she had, remember when she had performed for Trump's inauguration back in 2016, and her career just pretty much died that night. Like that was like the last time you saw Chrisette Michele perform anywhere. I want people to keep this in mind when election cycle rolls around. Like what, not because technically now we're kind of in the election cycle, but when election season rolls around next year, keep in mind all these other states got something, all these other groups are getting something. People overseas, I'm looking at you, Zelensky, are getting and still receiving. What do we get? A Juneteenth concert. SGMD said, is Arizona on the list? No, Arizona wasn't on the list. It was only 22 states. I should say 22 states so far, because I'm sure there's probably going to be more, but those are the 22 that they have locked in. Right, Arlene, it doesn't do anything for us. It's probably gonna be some people out there that's gonna enjoy it or whatever. I mean, not knocking them. If they want to go, they can go and have the time of their life. But me, nah. I won't even watch this when it airs. If this is televised, and it probably will be, but if it is, I'm not watching it. But I just wanted to present that to y'all, and I wanted to close out with this, because some of y'all didn't even know this was happening, much less what I just showed y'all over the last hour. But I didn't want to stay on here for way too long. I just wanted to come on here. Like I said, it was an impromptu stream, and I wanted to bring that to y'all. Y'all see, I had to go take an hour to get through that. It was no way I was going to be able to squeeze that into the Friday live stream. But y'all see it. Y'all know about it now. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wind it down. And I will be back on here tomorrow with the daily upload. Shout out to Jay Cage for the super chat. He said the bootlicks will look at this as an accomplishment. Right. But I'm about to get up off of here. Thanks everyone for coming through. Had a pretty good turnout. The rest of y'all, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a pretty productive and successful week. We will be back on here live stream wise on Friday with the regular live stream. And be one.